All right. Today I want to talk about something I've been thinking about because I'm going into my last year of college, right? I've talked about that a little. I go to school in LA at USC. By the way, I got Invisalign in today. So if I'm talking funny, don't make fun of me. Anyway, so I'm going to be graduating school in a year. And so I'm obviously thinking about what I'm going to do after. And I'm a computer science major, so there's kind of like three paths. One is you apply to like jobs in big tech, basically, like Google, Microsoft, whatever. Um, do the whole like technical interview process and hopefully get a job. The other is you do a master's. And then the last path is probably you do a startup, right? Which is like so far fetched. But it's always been kind of a dream of mine to like build something. I read Steve Jobs' biography a couple years ago, and then I read this book called Make Something Wonderful, I think, which is like a compilation of his like emails and notes and whatnot. And he, I guess, was very inspirational for me in terms of like me wanting to at some point do that. Like, make something wonderful and put it out there. That's what he talks about. Like this idea of like building something and actually like putting work to like make something and like, have that thing make a difference. Um, but obviously like it's so far fetched. Like I'm 21 years old. Like what startup am I gonna make? And like I don't know anything. And for the longest time, like especially as a computer science major, like the very easy or not the cop out, I guess, is like you think like, um, oh, I don't have the skills yet. Like I need to work more on my computer science, on my programming, and then the day that I'm good enough, I'll actually build whatever it is. I'll build the company and whatnot. And no, I can't do that yet because I don't have the skills yet, or I may have certain skills, but they're not enough to like build a company or build a big product. And what I'm slowly realizing is that that's actually a cop out. Like it's not true that you need to have those skills to build something. And what kind of prompted this thought was that so the other day, I can't say where, but I met this guy who is like a serial entrepreneur. He's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars. And he like attempted multiple startups, like I think like four times, and then finally his fourth one hit, and he sold it. They sold it for like over $1 billion. And I met this guy, and I had a conversation with him, and it was really inspiring. And well, it was short, right? But his story is really inspiring. Like I think that's something I want to do, and so here's this person who's done that, right? And he told me he went to college for music and theater. And when he got out of college, his brother came up to him. It was like the dot-com era. His brother came up to him and was like, "Oh, let's start a company." And they just did. And from there, that's basically what he did his whole life. Like he would try to start a company, occasionally work a job to like, you know, like pay for the failures of the other companies. And then eventually he founded, you know, a really big startup. And so as I was talking to him, like, and recently also I've been talking to some other people in this sort of with this sort of entrepreneurial mindset, and they look at you like you have, potential, like you have the ability to go out and do what they did. When I feel like a nobody, right? I feel like I can't do any of that. I don't, like I said, I feel that I don't have the skills yet or whatever. But then they look at you like you can do whatever you want. And that's really like empowering. It's also a little scary because it sort of pulls away that like fallback that I've always had, like what I said, where I want this thing, but then I think, oh, I can just, you know, or I'm not ready yet. I don't have the skills, so let me just get a job at like in big tech and like learn the programming skills or whatever. Um, and then eventually I'll start my own thing. But like I said, you know, it's not true that you need to have those skills. Or it's not true that you're ever going to be ready, really. Like, you kind of just have to start. And this has kind of been a big revelation for me over the past couple of days because it kind of throws it all um, up in the air. If it's if a startup is something that I want to do at some point, then why not do it now? If I don't pursue it today, then who's to say I'll pursue it down the line, right? There is no tomorrow, after all. Um, but yeah, so that's just something I've been thinking about. It's just like fallacy where you feel like you're always gonna feel underprepared. Um, by the way, I'm in my like dad's little studio thing. My dad paints. Um, so yeah, different setting today. Did I mention the Invisalign? I think I did. It's very uncomfortable. I got it today. Um, so I'm definitely talking funny, but the doctor said, dentist said that in 2 weeks I would be talking normally again. So be ready for that. Um, what else? What else? I guess the question from here is, what do you do for the startup? And here there's like mixed reviews, right? So some people talk about the fact that the idea doesn't matter as much as people think. So if you're gonna do a startup, you need an idea, right? But people put like so much emphasis on this idea, and this founder who I spoke to sort of emphasized how the idea is not so important as the execution, which I guess he's learned from having attempted multiple startups and seen that maybe sometimes he had good ideas that didn't pan out. And then once he had a lot more experience, just being able to execute on an idea allowed it to flourish. Um, Different people I've talked to gave more emphasis to the idea. I think you need an idea. Like, I don't think you can just pick anything random. Like, you need an idea you care about. You can't just pick something random um, and do it for the sake of it. Like, especially because I think it needs to drive you, right? Like, at least personally, I'm interested in entrepreneurship as a means to an end more than as the end itself. In that I'm interested in product, right? Like, I want to build something that's meaningful, and I think entrepreneurship is a way to do that. Like, you build a company to create something that matters. I don't think that if I'm not interested in the idea, that I can go about and like put all this time and build this, thing about something I don't care about. And so in that sense, I do think that idea is very important. And then, so I guess the question then is like, how do you pick something? And that's a big question, right? I think right now for me, like, um, if I were to do something, it would be in the field that I've kind of found myself, which right now is like I'm doing like large language models for like um, predicting behavior, like human behavior, which is cool. I really do like it. I don't know. I would down the line really want to do something in the like energy slash sustainability sector, which I don't know